Kia ora, I'm Erin J. Doyle. Welcome to my channel. I haven't worked on my Camp Narrow project at all weekend. In fact, I think it's been at maybe, I was going to say at least 3, but I think it might actually be up to 4 days now. Because I've been doing other things, all channel related. I have actually been being very productive, just not actually editing. I choose not to feel bad. I have realised also that I think the goal I set for myself of editing for 1 hour every day was just not a good goal for me, because I definitely do more than that. I kind of set it because I thought maybe what I was doing was opening up my Word document and telling myself, oh, now I'm editing, but then I'd also have YouTube running and I wasn't actually editing, I was just watching videos. No. I definitely put in well in excess of 1 hour of editing in every day without trying, so I think if I'm going to set a Camp Nano goal in the future, it will have to be something other than time spent editing. Never mind, we have learned. I don't have to do a lot of research for my Camino story because I've walked the Camino. I know what it's like, but some things maybe I just don't quite remember exactly, because obviously it's a long journey and there's a lot of stretches where it's kind of all the same, and I think if you get a stretch where you're walking through the same, your brain just kind of deletes all the bits in the middle and you just kind of remember, you know, this area because you had a conversation with someone, and you remember the statue over here, and your brain just goes, well, this bit in the middle wasn't important, so now those two places are side by side. So what I've been doing is referring not just to my own photographs that I took while I was walking it, but also to Google Street View to confirm my understanding of how far apart things are and that kind of thing. For example, there's a town where, in my memory, you are walking through the town following the little arrows and seashells that guide you along the Camino, and at one point you walk through the middle of a building whilst being on the Camino. I wanted to confirm that this was actually true because it's been a few years since I've done the Camino now, and I wanted to check that it was actually through the middle of a building and not, say, you know, an archway between two buildings, and maybe I've just kind of exaggerated the situation in my head. And I also wanted to make sure that this building, you know, if it was a church, that I said it was a church, or, you know, maybe it was a town hall or something, but I had no idea. And because I didn't know what the building was, I couldn't just pull up on Google Maps, find the building and go to Street View and then go, oh, okay, this is what it looked like, and describe the building from there. I had to try and find it in a town. So difficult. So what I thought I could do was find where the Camino de Santiago is in that village, and then use Street View to travel through the town until I found that building. The problem was that the Camino de Santiago isn't always on Google Maps. It's usually only visible where the Camino is following a road. If the Camino has cut through farmland or taken short alleyways, then it vanishes. So I wasn't able to determine where in this town the Camino actually, like, arrives or enters into the town. So I had to go back to the previous town that you would have walked from to get to the town I was actually interested in. That town, the Camino is following a road, so the Camino de Santiago is shown on Google Maps. So I was able to drop the guy onto Street View and follow along the trail. Doing this was actually super interesting and helpful because when I had written the character leaving that town, I had said that they were passing through vineyards, but Street View made it very clear to me that no, it's wheat fields and the vineyards don't start for at least 1 kilometre out of the town. I followed the Camino out of this town most of the way to the next town. Like, on Street View you can see the town I was actually interested in at the end of the road, but you come to a dead end and you can see little arrows pointing down this little tiny trail that the Camino follows, but Street View doesn't go down that way. I had to exit out of Street View and then just kind of go, okay, well, this is where Street View got me, so I'll just drop my guy in a straight line over here. And I was able to trace through the Camino all the way through this town until I came to a building, and sure enough there's one little sign saying go here, and there's this darkened archway in the middle of a building. and I was able to confirm that no, it isn't a church or the town hall. There is no English signage to tell you what kind of building it is. If there's nothing, it's just, here, walk through the middle of this building. Okay. This process sounds really straightforward, but it actually took me probably in excess of 2 hours just to try and find these really specific things that are on Street View but aren't necessarily on the map. Nonetheless, I think it's a really helpful tool to use if you're researching a specific real-world location for a contemporary novel, and I think it's probably something that I will do again if I write a story about a place I haven't actually been to. I would pick the town, drop that little guy in to go to Street View and wander around and see what there is to see. I think using Street View to sort of virtually walk around a town is more useful than just going to Google Images, say, and looking at other people's photos of that town, because the photos that people post on, say, travel vlogs and that kind of thing tend to have things in the way, like, you know, people posing next to buildings. They tend to be taken at interesting angles. They don't tend to show you, you know, dog running in the street, or what the locals are wearing, or how far apart, you know, this location is from, hey, that cool thing, whatever the cool thing is, whether that's, you know, a monument or just a random piece of street art. But these things are visible on Street View, so I found it really useful even as someone who has actually been to these places before, so I think I'll definitely be using it in the future. So that's all I've been up to. It's not super exciting, but I have been doing stuff, and I guess that's all that really matters. If you've enjoyed this video, perhaps consider giving it a like. If you're new around here, hit subscribe and ring the bell so you can stay up to date, and I'll see you next time. Bye!